Donald Trump's vice president pick just pissed off cat ladies.
We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too.
Cat ladies are pissed off with Donald Trump's vice president pick, JD Vance. Why are they so pissed off with him? Well, as you can see, he made a comment regarding them, and we're going to delve into that further. Watch the end of the video to fully understand why cat ladies are so angry with JD Vance and what the implications may have on the upcoming election, as well as the future of society. And now let's just jump right back into the video.
Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, has doubled down on his remarks that the Democratic Party is being led by what he called childless cat ladies. Vance made the original comment on Tucker Carlson's show on Fox at the time in 2021.
We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children.
Kamala Harris is a stepmother of 2 children. At the time of Vance's remarks, Pete Buttigieg was in the middle of the adoption process and welcomed his twins shortly afterwards with his husband while serving as Secretary of Transportation. Also in 2021, Vance advocated for a voting system that would allow people with children to cast more votes on behalf of their children. Vance addressed the controversy Friday in a new interview on the Megyn Kelly show on SiriusXM, defending his remarks and repeating his claim that Democrats are anti-family.
Obviously, it was a sarcastic comment. I've got nothing against cats. I've got nothing against dogs. I've got 1 dog at home, and I love them, Megyn. But look, this is not, people are focusing so much on the sarcasm and not on the substance of what I actually said. And the substance of what I said, Megyn, I'm sorry, it's true.
This comes as CNN reports Ohio Senator J.D. Vance has been historically unpopular and currently has a net favorability rating of negative 16 points in his home region, compared to negative 5-point net favorability in nationwide polls.
Now, what's very interesting is that comment that he made, I truly believe it actually only enhanced his likability, because most people that are not totally woke right now have a very negative perception of cat ladies and believe that, you know, the future of a lot of the women who are going to be childless and single come 2030, 45% of all women in the United States between the ages of 25 and 44 are going to be childless and single. And that's not counting the women who are going to have children but also be single. Like, these women are going to be, you know, childless, single, and they're going to be chilling at home with their cats and boxed wine. I mean, many of you in the comments have even said that we need to invest in pet food, and we need to invest, we need to invest in pet food stocks, and we need to invest in boxed wine stocks. And it's kind of true. It's kind of true. And you can see that he pissed off a lot of people. And it's comments like these that will rally up the supporter base. You have to remember that, like, mothers, women who are actually voting on the right, you know, a lot of these women are mothers. They're housewives. They're women who've built a family. They're women that are pro-choice, that are pro-life. So these comments absolutely resonate with them. And, you know, women, if there's one thing that we know, is that women can hold grudges much longer than men can. They absolutely can. And they can get spiteful. And women, you know, a lot of the women on the left have been very, very unfair to women on the right. And, you know, these kinds of comments, that really energizes them. I mean, think about it carefully. What he's proposing is allowing people who have children to cast even more votes than those who don't. So this would actually, now, the only drawback to that system, of course, would be with single mothers, because they have a bunch of kids, so they would be casting a bunch of votes as well. So that's where the problem does lie. On the other hand, there is a solution to that, where you can say, and they have to be married. So yeah, they have kids, but yeah, they also have to be married, and the father has to actively be in the home. That's where you would sabotage the entire thing. That's where you catch them.
For more, we're joined by two guests. In San Francisco, Renee Bracey Sherman is with us, reproductive justice activist, abortion storyteller, and writer, who's founder and co-founder, co-executive director of We Testify. Her new article in Teen Vogue is headlined, J.D. Vance doesn't want all women to be trad wives, just white women. Her forthcoming book is titled Liberating Abortion, Claiming Our History, Sharing Our Stories, and Building the Reproductive Future We Deserve. And in New York, Jessica Gross is with us, opinion writer for the New York Times, whose new piece is headlined, Attacking Kamala Harris for Not Having Kids Will Backfire. Not to mention it's not true. Her other recent piece is headlined, Traditional Marriage for Thee, but Not for J.D. Vance. Gross is the author of Screaming on the Inside, The Unsustainability of American Motherhood. We welcome you both to Democracy Now!
So, I mean, as you guys can see, these are some cat ladies, and he pissed off these cat ladies. And, typically cat ladies are on the left, often far left, because pretty much that's how the left is right now. If you're not far left, you're not left. You're to the right. That's it. That's the sad truth. And that's the sad reality we live in now. So they're not going to have a favorable opinion. But I really think that his comment is going to do a lot to energize the existing conservative base that are going to say, yeah, we like what he's saying, We like what he's saying. We don't really care about the opinions of, people who chill with cats and box wine all of the time, So, we're not worried about the opinions of winos.
Let's begin with you. If you can respond to these comments that Senator J.D. Vance made when he was running for Senate in 2021, but did not back down when talking about what he said just recently.
Well, I don't think whether or not you have children affects whether or not you support pro-family policies for the United States. We saw Build Back Better fail, and that had many provisions that were extremely pro-family. And you can argue, okay, well, maybe that wasn't the best bill. We don't see Republicans supporting things like paid leave, like childcare. We don't see them out front in terms of pro-family policy. And so I just find the entire line of attack to be ridiculous and also unpopular, insulting people who are deeply involved in children's lives, whether or not they happen to be those children's biological parents, voters of all political persuasion.
That's another very important point that we need to make. Kamala Harris is a childless woman, so she does not have any children of her own. Evidently, she has like some stepchildren from her husband's relationship, but she is not a pro-family person. If she were to become president, she would potentially be one of the first and one of the only presidents to ever serve that didn't have children. And that would be a very, very interesting reality. Like, I mean, keep in mind, if you look at Venezuela's election right now, people flew in from all over the world to vote in that election, and Mr. Maduro, won by like 51. He won at 51% of the vote. So, if that's kind of an indicator of where this election could be going, in the United States, there you go. So it wouldn't really matter. But I mean, me personally, I don't really care. I really don't care. I have very little faith that regardless of who's in power next, can fix this ship, because things are just so bad. It would take some extreme changes, and the kind of bill that we're left with, $34 trillion in debt now, or I think we just hit 35 trillion. That's not going to go away. Trying to pay that down is like, the concept of paying that debt down is absolutely ridiculous at this point. And the fact is that we can no longer pay our debts. So we cannot pay the interest on our $34 trillion debt, $35 trillion debt now. So once we default on that, it's only going to result in, us having a much harder time accessing more lines of debt, more, credit. And it's also going to result in higher interest rates. Guys, like, this is like subprime lending. It would be absolutely crazy. So the other countries will lend us money, but it's going to cost so much to borrow that money from China that it makes no sense anymore, and they're not going to want to lend it to us because there's no way that we can actually effectively pay it back, and then inflation is rising so quickly that the value of the debt, the value of the money is decreasing rapidly. So they're actually losing money, loaning us money, because a year later the money is going to be worth less. So the interest that we'd be paying would be worth much less. So they're actually losing value versus if they're getting paid in something like BRICS currency or gold or precious metal or something that actually has real intrinsic value other than paper money that's worth less than the paper it's actually printed on. That's the reality that we're now living in, guys. That is the 100% reality. The video that I just showed you comes from the Democracy Now! Channel, and I'll have them linked in the description. So if you want to check them out, you can go check out the full video on their channel. I mean, guys, the future is basically, a lot of cat ladies that are just going to be at home, and many of them will regret the fact that they did not have children, but they'll never admit to it. They're just going to double down and say that, they're happy and tell young women that, hey, they should go down their path because they didn't need a relationship. And I see comments like for this video from women who are like, I'm 62 years old, never had kids, and I'm so happy. And they all say that, and then they like get off the computer and they're in tears like, ooh, ooh. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the content, consider subscribing to our newsletter for my personal thoughts, insights, and a free copy of my ebook, The Blueprint for Escaping the Rat Race. Click the link in the description to get your free copy. What do you guys think regarding all of this? Cat ladies are pissed off with JD Vance. Let me know your thoughts. Did you like the comment? Do you agree with the comment? Let me know your thoughts and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWM and walking away. And cheers.